Hey, what's up, TikTok? It's Coach Steph. I'm going to be talking about how to manage sugar cravings and A1C. So, if you have sugar cravings in the evening, or even if you have diabetes or prediabetes and you want to learn how to manage your blood sugar better, this live is going to help you. So, if you happen to be watching this in the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. I'm new to TikTok. This is my second live ever. There's so many little gadgets on here that I really do not know I really don't know what I'm doing on here, but I'm here and I'm going to start my TikTok journey. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not already followed, go ahead and follow and say hello to me. I'm Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a mindset transformation coach, and I help female perfectionists to beat self-sabotage and lose the weight for good inside of my 16-week program called the Fit Figure Formula. So if you are a woman over 40, if you tend to be self-critical, if you have been on a weight loss journey for a long time and you feel like you don't know how to lose weight and keep it off, because it doesn't matter how much weight you can lose if you can't keep it off, this is the platform for you. So make sure that you follow my page. I talk about the mindset that you need and the identity that you're going to need to lose weight and keep it off and get off of this yo-yo roller coaster. And what does that look like? It looks like self-love, self-compassion, self-trust. And I give my clients tools and mental tools in order to overcome their own self-sabotage. Because a lot of times in our weight loss and health journey, it's not that we don't know what to do so much or we can't find out what to do. It's like, how can I get myself to do this on a consistent basis? I'm just not being consistent with it, even though I know what to do. So we want to practice closing that knowing and doing gap. There's a gap between what you know to do and what you're actually doing. And that is what I help my clients do through behavior change, through science-backed principles that are going to help you transform your lifestyle. So my program is not about getting skinny quick. It's really about healing your relationship with yourself, healing your relationship with food and fitness, and then how that shows up on the outside of your body and how you get to live in the body that you want to live in. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you comment and follow me. If you happen to be watching this, also share this live. I don't even know if I can see comments, y'all. I told y'all I'm new. This is my second live, but I did want to bring out this information today. So if you have questions about prediabetes, sugar cravings, or being on diabetes and not being on diabetes, having diabetes and wanting to manage your A1C, drop your questions in the chat. Again, I'm a registered dietitian. I used to work clinical work for several years, and now I work for myself inside the Fit Figure Formula. Okay, so what I want to talk about today, sugar cravings. I got my notes here. So number one, this is going to be helpful if you have an A1C issue and or you have lots of cravings throughout the day. I'm going to tell you the number one mistakes that my clients typically are making when they come in as new clients. So number one, when we're choosing foods, I know that the doctors tell y'all don't eat anything white or don't eat any fruit because it has too much sugar. That absolutely makes me want to bang my head against a brick wall. Inside of the formula, I teach you how to understand your food, because I guarantee you, if you are focused on what to take out of your diet, you are dieting, and that is going to be short term. So what I call that is add talk versus subtract talk. So instead of telling my clients, stop eating sugar, don't eat fruit, don't eat anything white, I tell them, let's focus on every time you eat a carb, I want that carb to have 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. Let's add more protein. So you want to pair your protein with that fiber-filled carb, because that's going to help with your blood sugar, right? We want to add more water, more protein, more veggies, more fiber to your diet, instead of focusing on subtract talk, which is take away this, take away that, take away that. And then it's like, no wonder you feel super deprived, because all you're focusing on is what you can't have. And then it feels like I can't have anything. And now I don't know what to eat. And then you get overwhelmed and then you just eat whatever, right? So that all or nothing thinking is very much a thing. right? So we want to make sure that when we're choosing our carbohydrates, this is my number one tip, 3 grams of fiber or more per serving if it has a label. So, for example, our fresh fruits and vegetables that typically don't come with a label, they already have fiber. You don't have to worry too much about that. So, I'm talking about like apples, pears, bananas, asparagus, broccoli, right? We have our non-starchy vegetables, those typically like greens and um, asparagus, things like that. And then we have our potatoes and rice, um, sweet potatoes or white potatoes, right? Our little starchy carbs. I want you to eat both. You can eat both, right? Both of those have fiber. So we have fruits and vegetables, and then we have our starchy carbs, but then we also have carbs that have a label on them. So, for example, like cereal, a tortilla, a bagel, rice, right? We want to look for 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. Hey, Virgo. You know, I love a Virgo. I'm a Virgo too. When's your birthday? 3 grams of fiber or more per serving for your carbohydrate items that have a label. Okay. So this is only for carbohydrates. So don't go to like a package of meat, right? And try to look for 3 grams of fiber because you're not going to probably find it. We're talking about carbohydrate items only that have a label. So that's tip number 1. Make sure that your carbohydrate items have 3 grams of fiber or more per serving on the label. Tip 2 is always, always, always pair it with a protein. Okay. And this is super important because a lot of my clients come in under eating protein in terms of how much protein I want them to have in terms of body composition. Typically, you're getting around 75 to 100 grams of protein, which is fine for general health, right? But if we want to talk about like building muscle or just shifting your body composition and losing more fat and try to keep as much muscle, we want that to be a little bit higher. And that number is going to be based on your skill level and your current weight, your goals, and things like that. So a lot of times y'all are under eating protein. And typically the 2 meals that you under eat protein the most is usually breakfast and snacks. Okay. So breakfast and snacks, you're typically under eating protein. So whenever you eat, really, we need to be having a protein. And typically my clients need roughly around 30 grams or more per meal and snack. And they typically eat 3 meals and 1 snack. Okay. That's what's typical. So we always want to be pairing that carbohydrate, whether it is a whole fruit, a whole vegetable, or a whole grain with 3 grams of fiber or more, with a protein. Okay. So tip number 3 is making sure that you eat eat your protein or fat first and then have your carb item. So this is going to help decrease the insulin response, decrease how much sugar is being dripped out to in your bloodstream. So not only do you want to, now this is kind of an optional one. It's like a little, side tip, but I do think it's helpful. So our first tip was 1, make sure your carbs have fiber. 2, make sure you always pair your carbs with a protein. 2.1 is eating your protein first. Okay. And then tip number 3 is making sure that when you eat your highest carb meal for the day, you eat that before or after a walk or a workout. One really great tip for anyone who wants to lose weight or manage their A1C or even cravings is making sure, again, we're having that balanced plate with protein and carbs, but also we are maybe moving, right? So maybe go for a walk before or after your highest carb meal, or even if you can't go for a walk, maybe you're just doing like 25 jumping jacks or 25 squats or something like that, just to make yourself move. And this is helpful because as soon as we eat, our body is processing our food and our carbohydrates, and our muscles are more primed to take the nutrients that's in our blood and use it for energy, use it for to do work and to create energy in our body instead of storing it. So this is like a good little hack. I have my little walking pad right here. So if I have something that is a little bit more carb heavy, I'll get on my walking pad. Now, this is so interesting because a lot of people will go work out and be like, oh, I don't want to mess up the progress, mess up the calories that I just burned in this workout by eating something sweet. But actually, if you're going to have a sweet treat or something like that, that's actually the best time to have it is before or after your workout, because now it's not so much about burning calories and like offsetting, but it is about your muscles being open, your muscles being primed and ready to receive that instead of storing it, right? So inside of the Fit Figure Formula, this is my lifestyle change program. I teach my clients, I help them develop based on their own personal schedule, an eating regimen. And then we're placing our walks and our workouts strategically. And we're also making sure that we're adding in our treats. So even if you have diabetes, even if you have, pre-diabetes or you have sugar cravings, we want to be able to strategically place those treats in your diet, because what happens is you try and restrict and restrict and restrict and restrict, and then you binge, right? So that binge starts off with the restriction. So if you're on a weight loss journey, you don't need to just focus on cutting out all of your carbs. That is not sustainable, and it's not a good idea, because then you end up not trusting yourself. And remember, I talked about how important it is for you to be able to trust yourself in this journey, because your weight loss journey really is about your relationship with you. And that's what I focus on inside of the Fit Figure Formula. It's the mindset part. Of course, I'm going to give you all the strategy to manage your macros, but also like this is really about your relationship with you. So if you're joining me, hey, I'm Coach Steph. I'm a registered dietitian and a weight loss mindset coach. I'm new to TikTok, y'all, so follow me. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 followers. Share this as well. So I'll be on here a little bit more often giving you guys tips. If you haven't already, y'all should check out my page because I went live yesterday. Ooh, what did I talk about yesterday? Ooh, what was it? I can't remember what the topic was, but it was good. And I also posted some replays as well on healthy snacking, how to set proper goals for this year, etc. So definitely check out my page, share as well. So let's see. So we talked about making sure I was talking about planning in a treat. Absolutely. Plan in your treats. This is very important. What else? So, invites you to be a co-host. I don't know about all that. I'm not supposed to do all that. All right. So let's see what else. Oh, and this is another reason why you're having cravings as well. So the cravings, a lot of times when a new client comes to me and they say, hey, I'm having a lot of like evening cravings. And you might think that the solution is to cut back more on your sugar. Actually, it's to eat a little bit more. And here's the reason why. By the end of the day, you've moved, you've made lots of decisions, you burned a lot of energy, and your body is like, excuse me, ma'am, I'm hungry. And it starts to send you this signal to say, hey, I'm really, really hungry. And you crave sugar because that's the quickest way to get energy. I promise you, if you start moving your calories up in the day, stop skipping breakfast, ladies. Over 40, if you are over 40, tapping on menopause's door, perimenopause, menopause, stop skipping breakfast, y'all. I have a podcast called The Fit Figure Formula. I don't know if that's backwards for y'all. Check on Apple Podcast or Spotify, The Fit Figure Formula. Every Tuesday, I drop a new episode. I just dropped Menopause Part 3. So I'm talking about menopause and the things that you need to be doing in menopause in terms of lifestyle changes. So if you are going through that transition phase, definitely check out the most recent episodes of the Fit Figure Formula podcast. But a lot of times y'all are skipping breakfast, which is why you're so hungry in the evening. So what we want to do, we want to shift our calories up, right? We want to shift our calories up throughout the day so that you're actually eating more food. My clients who are in menopause or perimenopause, I'm also in perimenopause, I'm 42 years old. You do not want to be in a low calorie deficit, right? Like you want to actually lose weight on as many calories as possible. And so the whole intermittent fasting doesn't work so well if you're trying to hit your protein goal. If you want to build muscle, doesn't make a lot of sense to intermittent fast because you're trying to actually build and you need more calories and you need more protein. So there's no reason to like restrict the eating time. But a lot of you guys want to lose weight and build muscle, right? So you can do that at the beginning, but at some point you got to decide which phase you want to be in. And so if you are trying to lose fat, and I would say if you have more than like 10 or 15 pounds to lose, we need to be in a fat loss phase first, and then we can work on building muscle second. But when you are in a fat loss phase, the goal would be to eat as many calories as possible and still lose fat only and preserve as much muscle as you possibly can. Okay. So you don't want to be eating 1,200 to 1,300 calories because that's not enough food. So it's like, oh, no wonder I'm hungry in the evening because I'm not eating. And that's why you have these sugar cravings. And a lot of times, even if y'all are eating, your meals are so carb heavy that all you want is more carbs. So think about the last time you tried to eat just one cookie, right? Trying to eat one cookie does not work. Unless here's my hack for eating one cookie, always have some protein or some healthy fat or something, right? So sometimes if you're just trying to just have one cookie and you're trying to control yourself, eat the cookie, but then eat it with like some nuts or some beef jerky or Greek yogurt or something like that. That'll help you. But when your meals are really carb heavy and those carbs tend not to have enough fiber, you're going to want some more sugar. Like one cookie by itself is going to make you just want another cookie until you start feeling like, ugh, that ugh feeling is like your blood sugar is rising, and you can kind of feel that, and that doesn't feel great. So we want to make sure that we're always pairing it. We're planning in our treats. We are walking before or after our heaviest meal, or like our heaviest carb meal, and we're pushing our calories up throughout the day. So stop skipping breakfast, stop just going through the Starbucks line, making sure that we have a protein, a fiber-filled carb, and a healthy fat in order to keep our blood sugars pretty stable. So our blood sugar is going to go up when we eat carbs. Like that's what it's supposed to do. That's what happens. But instead of mountains, like eating nothing but carbs and then skipping lunch, right? And our blood sugar is going up and down. Like the insulin is a hormone, right? And so if we talk about balancing our hormones in menopause, part of that is keeping your blood sugar regulated so the insulin is not spiky. We want it to be like a heel, right? It should be like this throughout the day because we should be having protein, carbs, and fat at every meal. We should be eating around every 4 hours. We should be walking, 30 minutes a day is what I recommend for my clients. So we're trying to get 7,500 steps a day at least. And then we should be strength training 3 to 4 times a week, right? And that strength training is also going to help you with your A1C. When you have more muscle, you are actually able to eat more food because your metabolism is higher. You're able to handle more surges of sugar in case, because if you don't have as much, then our body it's going to store it more so than actually utilizing it for energy. So y'all let me know, is this making sense? If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Again, I'm new to TikTok. I don't know if I can actually see the comments or anything, but I can see that people joined. again, if you have not checked out my page, you definitely should. I have multiple trainings that I just dropped on healthy snacking, how to set proper goals for the new year, etc. So I hope this training was helpful. Let me recap one more time. So I talked about sugar cravings, managing your diabetes, and your A1C. First tip I gave was to always make sure your carbohydrates have 3 grams of fiber or more per serving. Second, always pair it with protein. Third, eat your protein first before you have like a sweet treat. Plan in your sweet treats. Stop skipping breakfast. Start pushing your calories up throughout the day. Okay, I think I ran through all of them. You guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, make sure you say hello to me. What state are you in? That's what you can drop in the chat. What state are you in? I'm in Texas. I would love to help you. If you need help with your mindset, your macros, if you are on a self-love journey, my program is perfect for you because we talk about your identity, our self-love, our self-acceptance. And as a weight loss mindset coach, I know that your mindset is what's going to make it stick or not, right? Like I can give you all the tools for macros. You can ask ChatGPT for a meal plan and follow it to the T. But if you are thinking negative thoughts, if you are beating yourself up every time you get on the scale and the scale goes up, if you're criticizing yourself instead of getting curious, then I know that number one, your weight loss journey is not going to be enjoyable, and it's probably going to be short-lived because we need to have a powerful mindset in order to shift our identity, especially if you have been struggling in this area for a long time. So I help my clients with their emotional health, their mental health as it relates to their weight loss, and I give them mental tools. There's not just one way to think about yourself or your weight loss journey. I've had clients who came in and they did not like themselves. They didn't accept themselves. And I just offboarded a client a couple months ago and she's like, yeah, like I look in the mirror and I'm like, I love myself. Like she accepts herself so much more. And I'm so happy to be able to be a part of her journey to help her heal her relationship with herself, with food and fitness, and then give you the tools to be confident about what you're putting on your plate. Because so many people are scared to eat. If you're on a weight loss journey, like scared to go out to eat, you're scared to go to a party, or if something happens, a vacation happens, you're scared that you're going to fall off forever. I help you develop tools that are going to help you with vacation, with holidays, with when you do fall off, when you don't feel motivated. And we build new rules for ourselves. Around what do you do when you go out to eat, right? There are simple habits that you can start adopting. There are go-to powerful thoughts that you can adopt as like, hey, this is how I want to think as the disciplined person that I'm becoming, as the person who loves herself and who keeps commitments to herself. These are my power thoughts, right? So one thing that we did a couple of Mondays ago, typically my clients and I, we meet Mondays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. CST. And Mondays are typically around mindset. I'm helping them develop tools to beat self-sabotage. I'm helping them to develop and shift their identity. And we did a remembering me jar. And this remembering me jar, I gave them several prompts and they wrote on like little sticky notes, and they wrote out things that they love about themselves, things that they're proud of, things like that, and putting them in the jar. And then I'm going to prompt them monthly to add to that jar. And I also encourage them to give those prompts to their loved ones and have them add. So then throughout your journey, when you're feeling discouraged, you can go to the jar and remember like who I am, right? So sometimes we just forget how powerful we are. Sometimes we forget how powerful our decisions are, how powerful our desires are, or we like forget our ultimate goal because we are trading in what we want right now for what we want most. And that ultimately doesn't make you feel the best, right? I want you to feel empowered. I want you to feel knowledgeable. And when you leave my program, you're going to feel good from the inside out. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more powerful thoughts. You're going to trust yourself so much more and have so much confidence in the choices that you make and also what you put on your plate. I do not give my clients any meal plans or something like that. I teach them how to do their own. So you're going to leave with this skill. One of my pet peeves is when a client joins a program and they just followed a cookie cutter diet and then they have no idea how to manage their nutrition, eating out, vacation, actual life circumstances when they get done. That makes no sense to me. That is why I call my program a lifestyle transformation, because we're going to be talking about, I've done this enough to know the things that kind of trip y'all up. Vacations, birthdays, when it's cold outside, right? Like dating, right? So like, oh, I'm going on these dates. Like, how am I going to be managing my nutrition and going on dates, right? Like, so real life situations. And I help you to build what I call your CEO self. Like, you're the CEO of your health journey, and you get to decide what habits you have, because your habits are ultimately what's going to create your outcome and the body that you get to live in, the thoughts that you think about yourself. So do you want your weight loss journey to be restrictive and punitive and unpleasant? Or would you rather go on an adventure and find out, what are the ways that I love to move my body? What are the ways that I can eat that I love, that don't feel restrictive? Like, I can't have any like sweets or anything like that. What are the ways that I can love myself more, instead of every time I get on the scale and the scale pops up feeling bad? Because at the end of the day, I always tell my clients, I need 3 weights to identify a trend. I never look at 2 weights and say, oh my God, I gained weight. So 180 to 181 means nothing to me. I need at least 3 weights in order to say, okay, here's a trend. And that's the minimum, right? So if you're the type of person who beats yourself up or tries to figure out, dang, what did I do wrong when the scale pops up? Listen, one of my clients had an aha moment over Christmas holidays. I think she started out around 200 pounds and she was down to about 193. And then I think it was Thanksgiving, her weight popped right back up to 200 and she started freaking out. And I was like, listen, it's okay. It's going to come right back down. But this was an opportunity for her to trust herself, because when we eat a little bit more, we have more food in our gut, we have more glycogen storage that bonds to water, and that shows up on the scale. And so last night, she just told me that she's so happy that she had that experience with me in the formula, because now she trusts herself. Because yes, the weight went right back down. She saw her lowest weight soon after that, right? And so the scale doesn't always tell the story, but a lot of us will get on the scale and have a lot of negative self-talk, beat yourself up, feel discouraged, just say, screw it, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then we really do ruin all of our progress, when really the scale is going to pop up sometimes. You're not going to lose 1 pound every single week. That's just not going to happen. So put that expectation off to the side. What people mean when they say 1 to 2 pounds a week, they mean on average. So let's say you are on a weight loss phase for 12 weeks. You take the amount of weight you lost divided by the number of weeks, and that average is usually about, honestly, half a pound to maybe 2 pounds. 2 pounds if you have a lot of weight to lose, right? But normally it's like half a pound. That is okay. That you are on the right track. We don't want to lose weight really quickly. Why? Because that takes away our muscle. And when you lose muscle, you end up gaining weight on fewer calories later. So that's why when you go back to eating regular, you're like, oh my God, well, how am I gaining weight on the same amount of calories that I was eating before? Number one, you're a smaller person. And number two, if you lost too much muscle, your metabolism is slower now. So all of these things matter. And I know it feels like, it's a lot to lose weight, to sleep enough, to get enough protein, to manage your stress, to eat all them times a day, to get enough steps, to strength train. And it feels like a lot. But inside of the formula, I take a step-by-step approach that I've ran on hundreds of ladies at this point. The smaller the steps that you can take, the better and the more that it is going to stick. So one of the things that I do, I take a habit-based approach in the beginning, and we only focus on one meal at a time. So week 1 is just about taking photos of your food so that you can be more conscious and more aware. Week 2 is really about your breakfast. Then week 3 is about your lunch. I give you a formula for your lunch. Week 4 is for your dinner and snacks. I give you a formula each week. And then like week 5 or 6, that's when we start putting everything together. That is what's going to help you be more sustainable, because a challenge is short for a reason. If you're trying to change too many things this January, it's probably not going to stick, because science tells us that the slower and smaller the habit, the more sustainable it is. So by December 2026, if you want to still be doing that same habit, the thing has to be small, and then you build from there. And so my clients are always so surprised by the end of 16 weeks with me. They've done so much and it doesn't feel hard. And they're like, oh my God, like, how am I doing this? When before I tried it on my own and I was trying to put all these pieces together and I couldn't do it. And it's because they tried to do it all at one time. So one of the things that makes my program a little bit different, number 1, is I do take a step-by-step approach, because we're not in a rush in my program. But also number 2 is we work on your mindset. Your mindset, again, is the most important part of your weight loss journey. And so I'm going to give you tools to catch your self-sabotage, those thoughts in your brain that make you quit and micro quit. We're going to catch those, and I'm going to help you in real time. I call it our power hour. It's not an hour, but we start off with intentional time alone in the mornings to really start thinking powerful thoughts intentionally. And then in real time, whenever you're out in real life, you can start catching like, oh, okay, here's how I make a new decision. And I always tell people, you only need a 1% shift in your mindset that will give you a radically different result. And so again, incremental change. If you want to be successful in 2026 with your health and weight loss journey, you want to decrease your cravings, you want to decrease your A1C. I help my clients do that inside the formula. I would love for you to join us. You can head to the link in my TikTok bio. Make sure that you follow me. Make sure you share this live. Like I said, I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers on TikTok. I'm mostly a Facebook girl, y'all. So if you go to my page and you click on the link tree, it should go to my link tree, and you can follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. You can follow my podcast called the Fit Bigger Formula Podcast. And so I'm going to start showing TikTok a little bit more love, because typically I'm a Facebook girl. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with a new topic. Now let me know what you want to hear. Actually, I think I'm probably going to do emotional eating. So for you emotional eaters, stay tuned for tomorrow's live.